State lawmakers will face a projected multi-billion-dollar budget deficit and slowing revenue when they return to Springfield in January.
But a new report shows that Illinois is in a better position to handle a recession. With a look ahead, here's Sam Matheny in studio. Sam?
The Illinois Economic Policy Institute says more responsible fiscal spending in recent years should help moving forward, as will more than $2 billion in the state's rainy day fund. But some economists say there's a 30% chance the U.S. will see a recession in 2025. The main reason the report says Illinois is more prepared is because it eliminated its backlog of unpaid bills from the two-year budget impasse between former Governor Rauner and Democrats. The report shows that rainy day fund has improved tenfold since 2007, but only Champaign and Bloomington metro areas have beaten national job growth rates since the pandemic. While the financial outlook is less negative than in past years, tax revenue from the state continues to lag this year, and unfunded pension liabilities grew. Early fiscal year 2026 estimates from the governor's office, meanwhile, project a potential budget shortfall of $3.2 billion if the state doesn't cut spending or raise revenues. Guys, back to you.